Why are people not talking about this game? Shown in the Xbox Games Showcase, this is probably one of the most exciting and unique looking games, and that's Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's an action-adventure game with RPG elements, puzzles, platforming, cool environments, social sim elements, and in this video, I'm gonna deep dive into everything we've seen in this game. So covering gameplay, story, setting, and literally everything. Immediately starting off the bat, this game looks absolutely gorgeous with its cel-shaded art style. It has this unique comic book drawn look that reminds me of Sable, Borderlands, or Hi-Fi Rush. It's colorful, vibrant, fluid, and it's awesome to see when we have these games with unique art styles. Now, let's give some background on the game since this is a brand new IP. This game takes place in a fictitious place called Hinterberg, which is a new tourist hotspot in the Austrian Alps. Now, some cities have a good food scene, some cities have natural wonders, but Hinterberg has dungeons as their main tourist attraction because a mysterious magical presence has overtaken the surrounding area. So explorers from around the world all come to Hinterberg to complete these dungeons, including the main character Louisa. Louisa is a burnt-out law trainee who's tired of her fast-paced corporate life and is totally burnt out. Same here, Louisa, same here. And surprisingly, instead of starting a farm like all of the other farm sim games, she wants to conquer dungeons for her quarter-life crisis. So let's talk about the gameplay specifics, and this game describes itself as an action-adventure RPG, and it has magic, puzzles, monsters, and a social sim component as well, where you interact with people in the town. So it basically combines Zelda and some Persona, and even though there are countless Persona and Zelda clones, the combination of everything is where this game becomes unique. It has this third-person camera angle, and the combat involves sword attacks, dodges, magical attacks, and everything in between to take down some unique monsters that you encounter. Some of the early previews of this game call it a hack and slash type combat, but a little more intricate because of the dodging. There's light and heavy attacks, combos, and magical abilities, and we actually know a bit about the abilities as well. We know that each main area stage around Hinterberg provides a new set of abilities, and you can use these abilities to help with navigating the world, solving puzzles, and defeating monsters. So one ability that we've seen is the mini tornado, which lifts Louisa up, allowing her to fly over low solid structures like fences, spiky vines, and much more. And then we also know that another ability is the meteor shower, which allows you to bombard an area to easily kill off low-level enemies. We also see various other abilities in the trailer, such as a flame bomb to break walls, wind blasts of some sorts, you can pull object towards you, and a ton of other abilities. These abilities seem to change depending on the area that you're in as well to give some variety to the game. Now, I didn't even get to talk about the social sim elements that this game has. So the town of Hinterberg acts like a central hub, and there you can interact with people and build relationships. The town includes 10 separate locations, including shops and bars, to purchase items and interact with locals. So the main gameplay loop is that Louisa will spend her days exploring the areas outside of the town, hunting for and completing dungeons, and at night you return to the town and the hotel to get to hang out with the town's residents. Hanging out with the residents and helping them gives you more new moves and combat-specific abilities. This makes it interesting to talk to the residents, and we see a glimpse of that where some of the early playtesters said that one of the main relationships you will build early on is with a journalist who wants to document the dungeons. There's also a friendship status that increases the more you interact with others. So the social aspect kind of acts like a quest system or a skill tree of some sorts, so you can be choosy with who you want to develop relationships with, or tactical depending on if you want certain skills. The music in this game is composed by a small group and it sounds absolutely fantastic. Take a listen yourself. Now let's talk about the actual dungeons. There are 4 unique open biomes to explore outside of the town, and each of them with their own unique dungeons, mechanics, abilities, and enemies. Each area contains around 5 to 7 portals, and each portal will teleport you to a uniquely different dungeon. That means in total there are around 25 dungeons. The devs assured that no 2 dungeons will be the same, some might be hidden, and you can use your cool hoverboard to whirl through rail pipes like Sonic in some areas, or travel with your tornado in others. Each dungeon is reported to be around 30 minutes in length, with of course some being longer or shorter than others, so this seems like a pretty sizable game. At least 12 hours of playtime, but probably longer because of other aspects of this game, such as the world exploration, solving puzzles, and there's probably going to be a final boss or frontier, and the social aspects of this game as well. So I'm thinking easily 15 to 18 hours of playtime, maybe even pushing 20 depending on the other stuff. The dungeons remind me of old school Zelda from what we've seen so far, so having a combination of enemies, unique puzzles, and some platforming. There's a lot to play around with here, so this could be something special for those looking for classic Zelda-type dungeons. Now let's talk about the enemies. The developers said that they used actual alpine myths to create the creatures, and they will vary depending on the area that you're in. There's a variety of lower level enemies that are just mobs that you need to clear, and actually tough, strong enemies where dodging becomes increasingly important because you will get wiped out if you don't. We've seen that some of these enemies look very ghost-like or magic entity-like, kind of like dark entities. So it'll be interesting what the backstory is for these enemies and how they got there. And we haven't seen any major bosses yet aside from the taller enemies, but I'm sure it's gonna be there. That's it. That covers everything we know about the game so far. And the best news that this is coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. The release date is scheduled for 2024 for PC and Xbox Series, and this could be one of the best surprises releasing next year if they nail everything. What do you think about all this? What aspects are you excited about or not so excited about? Will you be picking this up? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe. It truly helps a ton.